two runners that have featured some of the greatest matches we've ever had in history of Smash TV Easy Mode Tournament is 40 Watt Range taking on Teleo.
Yeah, absolutely, Sigma. Sigma fan here, and I'm LOZ Cards fan 23, and this is going to be a very exciting matchup. And you look at the top half of this bracket, you don't see any surprises here. You've got the top 8 seeds all in the winners quarterfinals, but how they got there, quite a drastic story between the two. Now, Teleo1 and 40 Watt both had sweeps in their opening round matchup. Teleo had an easy time at taking down the number 21 seed Firebraw 3-0 to get to the winners quarterfinals. But 40 Watt Range caught quite the lucky string at the end of his match against our very own Mr. Dino 023, because it looked like Dino was going to advance to the winners quarterfinals. But 40 Watt got that immaculate spreader and invulnerability combination to steal the win away from Dino. That's how he got to the winners quarterfinals.
And you should take, and all of these matches that you've just listed off are available. If you haven't catched up with all of the action, do catch up. They are in the archives. Got some great work. Unfortunately, as we start off, Teleo gets the worst luck of all in this first room, having grenades on the feet. So he's going to be out at around a 43. 40 Watt Range is out at 39.
Yeah, you're talking about a 3.5 second lead for 40 Watt. Yeah, that's just some bad luck there for Teleo. Just got the grenades on the feet. Really nothing you can do about it. It's just one of those things. If it pops up there, it pops up there. Collect power-ups. We have a spreader for 40 Watt, a nuke for Teleo. So 40 Watt continuing the early advantage here. They're looking for that all-important orb. But rockets now for 40 Watt. Man, the rich are getting richer.
Well, it's bound to happen sooner or later. And everybody, both of these runners, just trying to plow through. 40 Watt Range does have the advantage of rockets and the Razor Shield. 2 out of the 3 of the Holy Trinity, as we like to call it. You orb the rockets and the Razor Shield. He's going to get out at a 120. Teleo is just losing ground because he had some late shrapnel pop with a 129.
Yeah, he's about 8.5, 9 seconds back of 40 Watt here. But yeah, neither player has the orb going into Eat My Shrapnel. 18 of the Mr. Shrapnels we have to take down, and boy, these runners, well, there's our opening orb for 40 Watt, first one to get it, and this is going to give him an easier time because only a maximum of 4 of the Mr. Shrapnels can be on the screen at any given point. But Teleo gets an orb of his own, and they both have the Razor Shield. They're both in good shape, Sigma.
Exactly, and what we have going on here is they have to destroy 18 of these nice little shrapnel buddies. Teleo doing in the work, but 40 Watt goes out at a 206 and gets a Razor Shield on his first drop in Total Carnage. Teleo is able to make up about a second of that 8.5 second deficit. It's just a matter of what he gets with the first drop, and it's going to be a nuke, and he will probably pop that off right now so he doesn't have to worry about that shrapnel and getting sniped and losing his orb.
But the advantage is going to stay on 40 Watt's side because he gets an opening drop Razor Shield followed by back-to-back spreaders. So 40 Watt, once again, the RNG favoring him at this point. And this is a very, very good matchup between these two. Another grenade on the feet for Teleo. That's 2 so far in this match.
That is, but however, since he does have the orb, that those grenades deplete rather quickly, so he doesn't have to worry about it too much. He's going to get some help with some rockets. However, 40 Watt Range is out at a 257.
That's a very good time there, Sigma. And Teleo has done nothing wrong up to this point. It's just the drops have favored 40 Watt up to now, but he's got a 310. However, with a third of a clip left of rocket, maybe Teleo can gain an advantage if 40 Watt gets a bad drop to start tank trouble.
Right, that'll be enough to take out the gunners. He could probably miss a couple rocket shots, but he should be enough. 40 Watt starts out with a nuke. He will take that to clear out some of the riffraff. However, with what you wanted to have happen is he wanted to have no fallout, and he had a bunch of fallout, so he wasn't able to take advantage of it.
On the feed for Teleo, so he got a refill right off the top. The gunners are down, no problem at all.
And that's going to help him get back in this game as both of these runners are controlling the center, controlling the firing lanes. Teleo trying to go for the feed and then thought better of it. That might cost him a little bit of time. However, he does pick up the Razor Shield. He will get a little bit of time back. And thankfully, having that Razor Shield up, that will pretty much avoid having to deal with a lot of the shrapnel coming through.
And look at this, Sigma, the better quality weapon for Teleo. He has cut into that lead. It's now less than 8 seconds difference between the two. That's about one empty drop, Sigma.
And, well, he's going to have to win on that empty drop. There's the lobbers. He does have an empty drop there with the invulnerability, but it doesn't matter too much because he still had a clip left.
And he missed the ball buster as well, did Teleo. And 40 Watt has now invulnerability plus the spreader, but he gets sabotaged with the lobbers.
That's not much of a sabotage there. He's still able to pile it in. Meanwhile, Teleo tried to go for some manuals. Unfortunately, he wasn't far enough to that far side in order for it to play safe. Meanwhile, 40WattRange trying to get some good manuals in. He's got about a 3-clip lead.
Oh, my word. That's your dagger right there, Sigma. I just don't see how Teleo is going to come from behind now. We're going to get to final form. He may get some transfer damage. He's got a lobber waiting for him. He'll be able to get it. A few shots should give 40 Watt game number 1 here. He's missing a lot of them, though.
No, it's not going to be enough, though, because he's got some spreader up above him.
Yeah, he's got it.
Yep. And a nice sub 6. He will be out around a 549, I do believe, and he'll take game 1.
Oh, no question about it. Just when you thought Teleo was going to make that comeback happen, the RNG once again turned to 40 Watt, giving him all of the goods, a 547. That was a 92-second Mutoid Man fight there, Sigma.
And that's when you take advantage of a few things going your way. It's what good runners do. He took advantage of a ball buster. He didn't let some of the bad drops fade him. And once he was able to get that right spreader combination out, he was money.
Oh, definitely. Teleo got a spreader, got it to final form, but now you're getting that popular empty drop final form. Rockets on the feet for Teleo. Probably won't be enough to finish the job. The spreader should be enough. And there it is.
It looks like the Rockets would have been enough. Teleo's going to be out at a 646, I do believe.
I'll tell you what, though, both runners played exceptionally well. Their arena play was crisp. They didn't make any mistakes. It's just that 40 Watt got the better end of the RNG stick in game number 1, and he'll take first blood in this match.
Right, but then he will get the first game, but I'd like to let everybody know this is the best of 7, so that good RNG does tend to level out when you're dealing with two top-of-the-line runners such as 40 Watt and Teleo.
Oh, no question about it, Sigma. I mean, they are the 4 and 5 seeds respectively for a reason. I mean, you look at their PBs, they are very, very close to one another. So I expect Teleo to rebound here in game number 2.
As both runners are setting up, we like to let everybody know that more Smash TV action will be happening all throughout the week. The next big race that's going to be happening is Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 2:30 Pacific. It is going to be, listen to this match, Aquas versus Prince Leaf.
My God, I'm looking forward to that one. That is going to have some more fireworks. I mean, the fireworks are incredible no matter what, because you've got Brysolf and Oopla as the 1 and 8, and you've got a rematch of CHX42 and RNGs as one of the best matches of last year's tournament.
And with the difference now being CHX now holding the world record spot at 1 with that amazing 505. We've broadcast that a couple of times last week.
Oh, yeah, and he's been putting in some work into normal percent as well, chipping away at the gap between himself and Brysolf. Brysolf's still the only one with the sub 40, but no doubt in my mind, CHX will join him in the sub 40 club soon enough. Great times for both, Sigma. They're both under 40 seconds. It'll be a slight advantage for 40 Watt to start collect power-ups. And this is as close as you can get, Sigma. We talked about that these are the number 4 and number 5 seeds, respectively. Their PBs are separated by 1/6 of a second, 10 frames. Heck, they're getting the same drops as well. Razor Shield, but there's rockets for Teleo, a spreader for 40 watts. So Teleo could maybe get a little bit of an advantage here, but 40 watt with the good firing lanes, 118. Teleo gonna lose some time here. It's about a 123, so 4.5 seconds is now the lead for 40 watt. Tell you what, no orb for either player. And there's the first orb for Teleo, and he needs to see that. And he's got to hope that 40 watt does not get an orb here in Eat My Shrapnel. Maybe Teleo can get some of that good RNG to flow his way.
That's right, to even this match out. And once again, grenades, which is not too bad in this room.
Oh, he does get it.
The orb.
Yeah, that's huge there for 40 watts, so he'll be able to maintain that lead. It's a 2:03. Teleo, a 2:05. He has gained some time. It's now a 2-second advantage only.
Right, he did have some bad RNG that time around. 40 watt doing some good dancing to keep that orb afloat. Teleo does have the Razor Shield to help him out. He does find a foot close, so he's going to take advantage of that. And now get some spreaders to help clear out the room.
I know it's early on here, Sigma, but so far early on, the drops have favored Teleo1, and we'll see how that comes into play at the end of this room. We could see a change in leadership if this stays afloat.
And right now, 40 watt is just riding the spreader train. That is his third drop so far with spreaders.
And look at this, Vitamin R now. The rockets for Teleo could help him finish out the room, and he does. He's got half a clip left to take with him as well. A 2:56, he's in the lead. And that is gonna explode on 40 watts end, and he's gonna lose a lot of valuable time. And just like that, it's a 9-second lead for Teleo, an 11-second swing, Sigma.
11-second swing in Teleo's favor, and he's got half that rocket clip. So he could take out the gunners, he could take out some shrapnels while firing at the doorways. Life is pretty good for Teleo if something doesn't happen.
And no sabotage there. Both gunners are down. 40 watt needs a good opening drop here to at least maintain pace, or hope that Teleo makes a mistake. He gets the Vitamin R.
He does get the Vitamin R and is advanced enough to actually claw back some of this time, because I don't think there was a wasted rocket drop in that clip.
No, I mean, 40 watt made full utilization of that rocket clip right there, and that's what you want to do in that case. Teleo, though, drops have kind of dried up since that spreader after the fact, so we'll see how this plays out, but neither player really getting any drops after the good first drop, but still, it is going to be a Teleo lead. The shrapnel does explode, but this time is really good. A 4:07 into Mutoid Man. And 40 watt, that time is continuing to bleed a little bit. Not by much, though.
And it doesn't look like he didn't even make up an ounce of time.
1 second he lost.
Right. Teleo kept those lanes really, really clean. And does hit the ball buster. He's just looking at what the drop is. He does see it's a spreader. Covered up a little bit.
Oh, he gets out of the way for him. Teleo can make full use of this spreader.
Yep, however, Mutoid Man bolted it up, so he wasn't able to get the full clip of it. He used full advantage of it, so he's now going to take out this gunner, get some grenades, and just tries to go this way.
Look at this. Big opportunity, but a big opportunity for 40 watt in a better location as well. So let's see if 40 watt can cut into this lead a little bit. Gonna grab the rockets. Probably not the worst thing in the world, considering he was almost out of invulnerability, and he's gonna change it up for the lobbers as we have double Glitchtoid Man.
That is the sign of you have a good race going. That final gunner, though, active on 40 watt, does finally take it off. Now we have a tie race. However, Teleo does have the advantage, and now he's at final form. He's got to get off that lobber, which he does. Now,
oh my, a spreader! This could turn it around again! What's gonna happen? Final form for 40 watt. Will he be able to come back?
Close.
Oh, it's gonna be so close. The transfer damage will tell the tale. It's not enough. Teleo hangs on. What a game!
Yeah, that transfer did not last long enough for 40 watt to get the maximum amount of transfer damage that he needed, because it was pretty much instantaneous.
Wow, a 553 and a 556. Both of them get a sub-6. I don't know if this is the first one of the season, but it might be. But we have a sub-6 Sigma being a losing time in the tournament.
very rarely does that happen. However, what really helped Talia was tank trouble, honestly. Sure, he didn't have as good of drops that 40 had at the start, but what he did was he kept those firing lanes clean, and
Yeah.
he was able to make the most of it. Didn't lose any time in that room, and we thought he was going to lose some time in that room because he was making some, because of the drops being favorable to 40 watt. But that's how good of a player Teleo is. He doesn't get the best drops in that room, but he keeps those firing lanes clean. He's able to take out what he needs to take out, and he winds up with the win of game 2. And now
Yeah.
the match is even.
Yep. What was a best of 7 is now a best of 5, Sigma. Teleo equalizes, so we're at 1 game apiece. And I wouldn't be the least bit surprised, Sigma, if this goes all 7.
I said at the beginning, this has the makings of what could be an historic match.
Oh, I have no doubt. Game number 3 is going to be coming up very shortly, and we'll see who's going to take that pivotal game number 3, take that 2-1 lead and try and build on that. But I don't think either player is going to run away with it. And if it does happen, it's because RNG is going to favor one side.
Either that or somebody's going to make a costly mistake.
Well, so far, both of these runners have been clean in their arena gameplay. You know, no one has dropped an orb yet in the first 2 games. So, yeah, their arena gameplay has been very crisp. The firing lanes, you might have a tail of the tape from one game to another, but I mean, they've been pretty much even in their arena gameplays. That's what you want to see in this stage of the game.
And here we go with game number 3. Teleo sees a nuke, thinks better of it. He almost ran into it.
Yeah, you don't want to grab the nuke unless it's the last drop in Arena 1. Like right now, potentially, you may see both runners. I don't think 40 Watt's going to grab it. It's in a bad spot. Teleo is going to grab it. It is still going to be a 40 Watt hole shot, but the time's, again, going to be a good 39 and a high 39, low 40. So, again, less than a second. So, they've been pretty much around that mark, except for game number 1, where 40 Watt had that big advantage because of the sabotage grenade for Teleo.
That's right, and we have an even start. Both runners start out with invulnerabilities. Nuke for Teleo, he will take advantage of that because there was shrapnels out and he doesn't want to deal with those. Doesn't want to get sniped. Does get some rockets, and that's going to help clear out this room pretty quick.
40 Watt getting back-to-back spreaders here, so then a razor shield, so some good stuff late, but it is going to be a Teleo advantage at 80 seconds. 40 Watt is going to fall behind a little bit. It will be an 85, a 5-second lead for Teleo, but this is the 3rd consecutive game, Sigma, that there has been no orb in collect power-ups for either player.
Just goes to show you how good these runners are, and I know I've said that a lot, but good runners can take bad situations and make the most of it, and that's what Teleo and 40 Watt have done.
Oh, they're doing fantastic, Sigma, with what the game has given them in the early room so far, but still no orb for either player. They both, another razor shield for 40 Watt. Teleo can use the invulnerability to try to reserve on that rocket clip, and that is not the end of the room. Now it's the end of the room for Teleo. It's a 203. 40 Watt finishes up the room with a 207, so did gain a second. I think had a better ending to the room than Teleo did, but now for the first time tonight, neither player has an orb in Total Carnage.
And both of these runners start out with rockets, picking up some drops. However, 40 Watt does pick up the orb. Teleo's got spreaders, and now he is trying to look for an orb. Invulnerability is not it. 40 Watt gets the razor shield and is trying to avoid that grenade.
Yeah, right now the drop's favoring 40 Watt here in game number 3 in Total Carnage. Teleo, another key. That's the 3rd one. Hey, game. There is no Pleasure Dome in easy percent. Knock it off with 4 keys in this room, Sigma.
Well, the keys are kind of the key to victory, just not in easy mode. And now he gets grenades. It's just a scramble just to try to find something good. However, I think what is beneficial for Teleo is that 40 Watt didn't have a great room either.
Yeah, the fact that it's only a 4.5-second deficit for Teleo1, yeah, definitely is a testament with what Teleo was able to do with what the game gave him. And I thought he was going to lose a lot more time than that. I mean, he ended up losing 8.5 seconds overall, but it could have been a whole lot worse, as it's time for Taco Bell, product placement with Taco Bell.
Man, if only we could dress KSI up in a taco and have him be driven off the top rope like at WrestleMania.
Absolutely. And invulnerability, back-to-back invulnerabilities, but a dude for Teleo as the drops continued to stay dry. Finally an orb for Teleo, but he's going to have to do a lot of scrambling to keep that, and he does. Very nice.
Now it's a matter of just getting back to the center, and this room, we should let everybody know, this is when the rubber hits the road.
Ooh, our first mistake there. 40 Watt dropping the orb here, and this could give Teleo a chance to gain some time, maybe retake the lead.
Especially if that rocket drop. And it does look like he is gonna take the lead. However, replacement orb, but that's just bad luck right now, because that was a fast spawn out of that bottom.
And just in time for Teleo, and yet we do have a change in leadership again. Teleo back in the lead with a 426, and 40 Watt runs into a mine. A disaster tank trouble for 40 Watt in game number 3, and he is now down by about 13.5 seconds.
Meanwhile, Teleo's just gonna pile on these rockets. Does not get the ball buster though, so it's not gonna. But 40 Watt doesn't have a ball buster to use either, so it's not gonna hurt him too badly.
No, but it is a lost opportunity for Teleo to maybe gain on that lead, because, you know, we've seen some very good spreaders for 40 Watt throughout this entire tournament up to this point. So, you know, you want to try to pull away from 40 Watt if you could possibly help it, because he can some good consistent damage with these lobbers. Going to change it up to rockets. He is fishing for a spreader here. Going to change it back up to lobbers. Grenades now for Teleo as the second arm pops up, and there's that spreader, Sigma. Oh, but he may be blocked. No,
he's got it. Teleo had the spreader, but unfortunately he didn't hug the far end of the room, so he got clipped.
Yeah, that's the second time we've seen that happen in this match for Teleo, where he had a player 2 spreader and just couldn't quite get into the right position to make the manuals work for him. As we have another glitch toy for 40 Watt. He's on the penultimate form, but he does take a death, and it's an empty drop, so maybe an opportunity for Teleo to cut into that lead.
Lobbers will help, though, and he does see a spreader. Can he get it, though, is the question.
Yeah, this could be the one that turns it around. Maybe a taste of 40 Watt's own medicine. Final form for Teleo. Final form for 40 Watt. Oh, it's anybody's game, but the advantage for... No, he's zapped!
That's some bad luck right there. This is just...
but Teleo gets run over. He's not going to get to that lobber. 40 Watt will get to his lobber, and 40 Watt might have this one.
Rockets for Teleo, 40 Watt with lobbers. Teleo gets lobbers on the feet.
Oh, this is going to be so close.
Teleo's going to get it first.
Another close game that's going to come down to about 2 or 3 seconds, Sigma. But Teleo is going to hang on by the skin of his teeth, Sigma.
This is a match where you take the victory and run.
Absolutely. A 2 3/4 difference, Sigma. Teleo once again in a squeaker takes game number 3.
I think what happened with just it was once again the arena play, like I said in the previous game, where Teleo made the most of a bad situation by not having the drops. 40 Watt unfortunately ran into some bad luck where he had that quick grunt come out, the purple shirt, just come out and just snatch the orb. And that kind of caused the dominoes to fall. So it's not a matter of bad play, it's just a matter of bad luck for 40 Watt.
Oh, absolutely. But that one opening right there was what gave Teleo the advantage. Yeah, 40 Watt with the bad luck. You know, he dropped the orb, got a second orb, but yeah, that purple shirt just came right there, stole that orb away. And you could point out to a lot of different things in this game segment, but that's probably your turning point. Not only of the game, but potentially the match.
Yes, your TSN turning point.
Absolutely. I was wondering if somebody was going to make that reference, and I'm glad you did.
Well, thank God for ESPN Plus. I could watch all those games. As our runners are starting to set up, we want to let everybody know that if you haven't if you want to get more speedrun action, like Cuphead, The Messenger, all of those great games, hey, give this channel a follow and get your notifications. We have a lot of great matches happening in the future.
You know, one of my friends thinks I should do Cuphead commentary. I need to know the game first before I can even think about doing commentary. But hey, you never know. I would like to do Cuphead commentary one of these days, but that's another story for another time because it's time for game number 4, Sigma.
Right. Will we even it up once again, or will Teleo take a 3-1 game lead? And what's good for Teleo here is that nuke drop is way up there in no man's land, so he's going to avoid that. And favorable spawn outs for Teleo.
Oh, but it wasn't the final one. And this time, for the first time tonight, Sigma, it is going to be Teleo with the whole shot with a low 40 versus a 41.5. So it's a 1.5 advantage this time for Teleo.
Right, and hopefully we get some RNG turnaround in this room. Maybe both of our runners can get orbs. However, rockets for Teleo to start spreaders for 40 watts, so slight advantage Teleo, who is taking those rockets, just controlling those firing lanes. And here's a little tip for potential runners. When you have the rockets in this room, don't hold down your button, just tap. When you tap, you have better control of your rockets. You can serve your rockets, and it could lead to quicker clearances of the room, as you saw in both instances with 40 Watt and Teleo, as both of them are out around 125.
Yes, that is the key right there. Yes, 40 Watt did have a slightly better room than Teleo. However, Teleo is, for the first time, somebody has gotten an orb in collect power-ups, and that someone is Teleo. So, again, 40 Watt going to have to fish for an orb here in Eat My Shrapnel.
He doesn't necessarily have to fish, because he's got these rockets. He can control this room pretty well, just as well, if not better, than having the orb. Now he's got to just got to try to find an orb, and
good nuke there. They're now dead even going into total carnage, but Teleo with the huge advantage with that orb. 40 Watt needs to see it, and then Razor Shield for Teleo, man, the rich getting richer here.
It's just RNG just flipping into Teleo's favor here. He hasn't had that much favor in the RNG in the arena play. Now we have both of these runners with Razor Shields. 40 Watt still looking for an orb, but unfortunately getting grenades. He's going to take a death.
Oh, wow, and he gets an orb. I mean, that death is going to cost him some time, but he is going to get the orb. Now, he has to keep it healthy to mitigate this time damage, because Teleo's
rockets are going to help.
Same with Teleo. He's going to get some vitamin R as well, but he loses the orb. His first mistake, but he gets a replacement. Can you believe this?
Yes, I can, because that's the way the RNG flows in this round. And he's going to get out at 3, and 40 Watt's going to get out at around a 309.
Yep, it's a 9-second lead for Teleo, but again, it could have been so much worse for 40 Watt. Now he's got a third of a clip of spreader to take with him to tank trouble, which really isn't going to help him all that much. So both of these runners are going to be hoping for some rockets to start tank trouble.
It's going to take care of a couple of shrapnels up top. As we see Teleo's first drop, he's going to get invulnerability. He's going to use it to take out one of the gunners and hope that something drops, and it doesn't. He's got a foot. 40 Watt, on the other hand, is going to use that spreader. He did take out a shrapnel. He took out one of the gunners with it, and now it's just a fight to keep the center. There's his rockets.
Nice.
He's going to use it to take out the gunners, and now he's going to try to keep those firing lanes clean.
Yeah, it's just been TTTT for Teleo1, the typical tank trouble trash. And yeah, the rockets definitely going to help him, but will 40 Watt get anything else? Now, rockets for Teleo1. He may maintain this lead. More rockets now for Teleo. Things are looking good.
Right, but the disadvantage was he had to go far in order to get him.
And now he's got a full complement of spreader to take with him to start Mutoy. Man, I would imagine he's going to forego the ball buster and try to do the manual to start the fight.
Right, that's always the question that we run into. If you have a full clip or near a full clip, what do you go for? And it looks like Teleo is going to do the manual damage, and he's got to do it again.
Did he just get a sideways ball buster, or are my eyes playing tricks?
No, he didn't get a sideways ball buster because it flew away.
Oh, you must have saw it and I didn't. I was looking for the fly away and I didn't see it, but you caught it. Another spreader, but he's getting him in the wrong spots. Teleo1 needs an invulnerability if he wants to really make it happen, or he's going to go for the mans because that gunner's right there. And finally, he gets run over. Spreader for 40 Watt. He too is going to have to attempt some manuals here. He is trailing 2-1. Teleo gets a lobber. 40 Watt takes a death. He's not going to get that lobber. A spreader. Teleo has a long way to go. He should be able to get it. Yes.
He got it. He could breathe easier now. Now he's going to take out a couple forms. He might pop the head. He does pop the head. He's going to forego that rocket and take out that gunner. And
oh my God, these drops for Teleo. How many spreaders is that in this fight? This should be your dagger right here for game number 4. Final form.
4 spreaders in this room. However, he was only to take advantage of only 2 of them. Wow. And that's a 550 right there.
Absolutely, man. I know a lot of these runners who would have like a 350x, 340x pace going to the stage. Where are these spreaders when I go into Mutoid Man? 550 for Teleo, and he is 1 game away, Sigma, from advancing to the winner semis.
That's just some good luck play, and 40 Watt is gonna wave the white flag.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was quite a few forms back. Figured, the RNG just did not cooperate with me. Let's just shake it off and try again. But now 40 Watt back is firmly against the wall here. He's going to have to win the next 3 if he wants to bring this back and move on to the winner semifinals. Otherwise, if he loses, as we take a look at the bracket here, this is match number 46. If he loses, he's going to have to face off against Tetsuo in the next round of the second chance bracket.
And Tetsuo has recently jumped. I think he leapfrogged 40 Watt. He either leapfrogged 40 or Aquas because Tetsuo put up a 520.
Yeah, he's third.
Now at the number 3 spot.
Yep. 520 he got about a week ago, and absolutely that promises to be a very exciting matchup if it boils down to that. But Teleo's got to win that 4th game. 40 Watt, you're not out of it yet until that 4th win is registered on your opponent's side.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the winner of this match takes on the winner of CHX.
No, it'll be a Brysolf and Oopla. That whoever wins that match, the winner of this match will face off against one of those 2.
Well, let's not waste any time. Here we go. Let's find out who's moving on.
I mean, Teleo has just been getting some absolute sick, good RNG, especially in the Mutoid Man fight. His luck, 40 Watt's luck, has got to change here, or he's going into the second chance bracket. We'll see what happens here. Both have their Razor Shield, of course, and let's find out who's going to get that whole shot. It was 40 Watt the first 3 games. Teleo got it in the last game. He's going to get it again here in the 5th game.
He's going to get it, but not by much. He's only going to get it by about a half second.
Now, low 39 versus a mid 39. Yeah, half a second, 2/3 of a second. As my friend Burgundy would say, it's negligible at this point.
Especially earlier on. Let's see what these first drops are. Spreader for Teleo, foot for 40 Watt, and Razor Shield for 40 Watt. So here's the trick for this. You could play it one of 2 ways. You can stay in the middle and do firing lanes, which is what 40 Watt's doing. Or another play is you can avoid shrapnels and just take that Razor Shield and just plow through enemies.
And that's what 40 Watt's doing. And Teleo once again getting an orb here and collect power up. 2nd game in a row. He's going to take the lead with a 122. 40 Watt yet again. All 5 games he's had no orbs in collect power-ups. He's going to have to find something soon.
Yeah, but that's not been the problem because he's always...
The swirl got 40 Watt.
Just clipped him. And he's going to lose some time, though, because there was 4 shrapnels up in the room. But he's only going to lose about a couple of seconds, though.
Yeah, maybe a second at most. The death is not what is going to cost him the time. It's the fact that there were 4 shrapnels on the screen that's going to cost him some time here. Teleo in great shape. Just has to finish off the rest of the Mr. Shrapnels. 1 to go. Here it is. and he is out with a 205 40 watt. Yeah, that time is just going to be bleeding, and it's going to bleed even more with the explosion of the shrapnel dude there. That lead is now 9.5 seconds, and he is still without an ore. Things are starting to look real bleak for 40 watt.
You'd hate to see a runner go out like this. He does have vulnerability, so he's just going to run into some shrapnels. He's going to plow through as many people as he can because he does have that foot. Rockets are going to help, though, so he's going to go to the center, control his firing lanes, and hope for something good to pop up.
And the weapons are only going to carry him so far, but Teleo really hasn't gotten much so far in total carnage. So, well, now as I say that, Vitamin R appears on Teleo's side, but still no ore. But the weapons have at least kept 40 watt afloat.
Right, and what's also keeping 40 watt afloat is he's keeping those firing lanes clean. Meanwhile, Teleo's not been playing clean in this room. So he is going to have the lead, and it's not going to be by much time. It's going to be about 7 or 8 seconds.
He did gain some time, but only about a second and a half, because it was a 9.5 second lead. He only increased it by a second and a half. And that's just 40 watt, a testament to he got great drops, but he also utilized them to the maximum.
That is true. Plus, he kept those firing lanes clean. Teleo did not. And Teleo did not get a good drop on the first one here on Tank Trouble. Gets himself a foot, gets a second foot, and takes a death.
Ooh, the opening maybe for 40 watt. He has half a clip of rockets and an orb on the feet. Can you believe it?
Yes, I can. Because that's what happens with 40 watts sometimes in this race.
Oh, my word. This could be another turning point in this match. Just when you thought 40 watt was dead in the water, he may come out of this with the lead.
It can happen, and he's going to try to make it happen with a well-timed nuke. And once again, keeping those firing lanes clean, just taking care of business. Wisely dipping out of that firing lane to get the rockets. Grabs a nuke. He's going to be out at 425.
He just erased that 11-second lead and then some. That time is a ticking on Teleo's side. He does have rockets to close the room, but now he is trailing by 10 seconds. That was a 21-second swing, Sigma. 40 watt has a shot, but not a good start with that invulnerability. Can he get the ball buster? Looks like he got it. Lobbers for Teleo. First arm pops off. He did get the ball buster indeed, but the first off pops up for Teleo as well. Lobbers versus Rockets. There's a spreader for 40 watt that he needs.
And he's in a good position to pick it up. He gets it right in the middle, and there it is.
And he waited a little bit so that he could utilize the rest of that spreader before picking it up. He gets maximum usage out of it, and he's already on the penultimate form. He's got some grenades now. Things looking good for 40 watt to extend this to a 6th game, but there's an empty drop.
Empty drop's not going to matter too much. Teleo does get the spreader. Will he able to pick it up? Yes, but unfortunately for him, Mutoid Man moves out of the way quick, so he's not able to get good advantage of it.
But he has made up some ground on 40 watt. It is final form for 40 watt, though.
He gets clipped by a shrapnel.
No. Teleo has grenades, and now he's out of weapon. 40 watt lobbers with good shots could be enough. He may need one more weapon. Final form for Teleo. This is very close. 40 watt cannot afford to make a mistake here.
So far, he has been keeping clean. He is now going to Rockets, and he is going to force a Game 6.
Oh, boy. Teleo was breathing down his neck, Sigma, but 40 watt was able to hang on, and he has forced a game number 6 by about 8 seconds. It's a 624 for 40 watt. Teleo is going to be in there in the low 6.3x range. Boy, oh boy, this exciting match continues, folks. 633 for a difference of 9 seconds. 40 watt took that lead into the Mutoid Man fight, and he made it stick.
Pretty even drops all throughout. However, what happened is there was at one point in the Mutoid fight where Teleo did get what he needed. However, Mutoid just ran away, so Teleo was not able to get full advantage of the spreader. But that's what happens sometimes. It's just sometimes the game knows, as like to be said during these races. So we're gonna move on to game number 6. 40 watt now with a 3-2 deficit he needs to pick up, and we're gonna find out who's moving on and who will be moving on to the second chance bracket, as both of our runners start to take care of their exploits or their advantages as they get that first drop razor shield.
Yeah, there's a couple of things you could look at in game number 5. Obviously, the big swing for 40 watt to win that game was in tank trouble. You know, Teleo lost that orb early. 40 watt had the rockets plus the orb on the feet, and everything just flowed for him. But yeah, that spreader, that Teleo just, the Mutoid Man moved the wrong direction. I mean, if it's in a more favorable spot, we could have been going under the booth.
We could have gone to the booth, but it looks like 40 watt was going to take care of it anyways.
Right. Would have been much closer, though. But here we go. Game number 6. 40 watt. He's been in this position before. If you recall, a few years ago, he was down 3-0 against Firebroth. So this is not unfamiliar territory and not unprecedented if you were to come back here tonight.
No, it wouldn't be. And 40 watt has been putting in the work. He's been doing some good stuff with the game. Teleo, who is a good runner in Smash TV in his own right hand, is also one of the best super ghouls, and actually one of the best ghouls and ghosts and goblins, super ghouls and ghost players out there.
Absolutely, and it is going to be 40 watt with the whole shot by less than half a second, but this is very close here. 40 watt has yet to get an orb in collect power-ups. We'll see if his luck changes here in game number 6. They both get grenades.
So it's an even Steven drop so far. And there's the orb for 40 watt.
First orb he has had in this match in collect power-ups. And this, again, so far, momentum is a fickle mistress in this game, Sigma.
I know, just ask the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Right. They're in the playoffs once again, but that's another story.
Yeah, win 4 games in the postseason, then we'll talk.
Absolutely. Nuke there for 40 watt. Oh, that was not the end of the room, and that almost cost him there, but 40 watt backed off enough that he was not going to get his orb picked off. He does take about a 2.5 second lead, and this time it is Teleo who's going to be fishing for an orb in Eat My Shrapnel, and he gets one on the first drop.
Yeah, he did an interesting approach. He went to the top and took care of the shrapnels first with the rockets, because the grunts will stay there for about 2.5 seconds. So if you have a foot and you could do that play, and it kind of works out in the end for Teleo.
Oh, for sure. Princely pointing out, what if he lost the orb there? History would be made. If 40 watt ends up coming from behind, you better put it on the board.
Yes.
Yes. All right,
Hawk.
All right. Back to the task at hand there. They both have their orb here in Total Carnage. It's a very close race, but so far the drops have been garbage early on. No Razor Shield, a key for 40 watt. Teleo getting an invulnerability, another key for 40 watt. So these drops have been awful for both runners, and a grenade on the feet for Teleo.
Right. It's a bit of a disadvantage there. However, both of these runners keeping those firing lanes clean. 40 watt's gonna get out of his firing lanes, get a spreader, and take care of more, trying to get that KDR up.
Yep, he's doing a good job of that. Teleo finally gets some vitamin R, not in the greatest of spot here. I think we may see 40 watt take the lead here, and he's got a third of a clip of rockets. It's a slight lead for Teleo. We're talking maybe a quarter of a second, and they both have rockets to take with them to tank trouble.
And both of them will be looking to take out the gunners. Teleo does have the advantage, though. He's got a few more rockets to spare. And while we are in the product placement room, here's some product placement for you. Follow both of these great runners, 40WattRange, Teleo1. See both of them kick butt in other games as well, along with Smash TV. And your time will not be wasted, I assure you.
Absolutely. They both do their job. Gunners are down on both sides. Now, what kind of drops? There's some vitamin R for Teleo. It's back to the middle of the room. 40 watts. Oh! The shrapnel got him, and now Teleo can pull away.
That's the shrapnel snipe. I've had that happen to me so many times in this game.
And that could be a fatal one for 40 watt. I mean, there's still obviously the Mutoman, more rockets, a replacement orb for 40 watt, but Teleo is clearly going to have the advantage. Trying to ride this out, didn't even need the nuke there. Teleo finishes off the room with a 415 and the lead. 40 watt has mitigated the damage. He's going to be less than 10 seconds back, finishing off the last of the foot soldiers. 424. It's a 9-second deficit. This is anybody's game.
It's going to depend on the drops, and there's an empty drop for Teleo. He's going to use that for the ball buster.
No.
Does not hit.
So a missed opportunity there. Let's see. And an invulnerability for 40 watt. So equal opportunity drops. Let's see if 40 watt can get it. He does.
So that's the advantage gone that Teleo had gone.
Ooh, 40 watt does get picked off by the gunner, but gets a better weapon in the lobbers. Had to go a long ways for it, though. But Teleo gets lobbers of his own.
And so does 40 watt, gets a reload on that lobber and has a good spreader position.
He's gonna get there. He does not get blocked. That was a risky play right there by 40 watt, but Mutoid Man cooperated, and he's gonna take the lead.
He's gonna take a death here. He's gonna get a glitch toid, and next drop is spreaders. He's gonna be able to get some.
Yes, but not much. And another one. Oh my goodness gracious! Could we be seeing a decider here right before your eyes?
We are gonna see a decider here, because here comes the final form for 40 watt, and there was an empty drop to be had there. Now he's gonna get some lobbers. Is this clip enough to do enough damage?
Should be. It is.
There it is.
Another sub 6 for 40 watt. And ladies and gentlemen, he was down 3 games to 1, but he has forced the decider, and we go to a 7th.
Talk about excitement, folks. 40 watt on the brink of disaster comes back. And now we have game 7. It's like all those great Toronto Maple Leaf playoff runs. Or not.
Or
anyway,
if you want to enter my world, the 2012 NLCS.
Yeah.
Anyways,
hey, well, you don't have to worry too much about that, because you won the series the year before.
True. This is true.
Off the back of David Freeze, of all people.
Oh my goodness, David Freeze. I mean, he's the reason why 23 is in my username, guy, because I came up with the Twitch name not too long after that World Series. But again, another story for another time, because right now the focuses are in these two absolutely incredible runners in 40WattRange and Teleo1. I knew this match was going to be exciting, so do you, Sigma, but these two have delivered on the promise and then some.
It's going to come to this game 7. I will not be shocked if we might have to go to the tape on this one.
I would love to go to the tape. I'll tell you who would not like to go to the tape on this one is Teleo1. He is all too familiar with going into the booth. If you recall the greatest match in Super Smash TV history between him and Aquas.
And Teleo, unfortunately, came out on the ignorant end of that one.
Absolutely, and that's why I say I don't think Teleo wants to go under the booth. I don't think his heart will be able to take that kind of pressure.
But all serious, folks, here it is. Game number 7. Winner moves on. Will face the winner of Braceoff and Upala. The loser will still fight through the second chance bracket, and we will probably see them again in the winner's round if everything falls into place. But deep breath. Good luck. Here we go. Game number 7 between these two ace runners.
Oh, ace runners indeed. The two of the best in the business. They've made it to the winners quarterfinals for a reason. Let's see how it plays out. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I wouldn't be surprised if this went under the booth. I'm going to say this match, this particular game, game 7, 10 seconds or less is my prediction.
I'm not going to challenge it at all. Teleo uses the nuke to perfection.
Wow. And he's going to have a big time hole shot. Look at this time. A mid 37 for Teleo. 40 watt is going to be almost 6 seconds back.
That was just a perfect nuke right there. And he's going to wind up with another nuke. He is just going to take that nuke, get a little bit of a breath, hope to find some good weapons, and he does with a rocket drop.
40 Watt gets an invulnerability, so Spreader follows up with that. Another nuke for Teleo. No orbs yet, but 40 Watt needs to see that orb because he could really be up the crick without a paddle if he doesn't see it already being down by 6 seconds. Another Spreader for Teleo, a nuke now for 40 Watt, and Teleo, despite no orb, a 78 going into Eat My Shrapnel. 40 Watt, that time is a bleeding. It's 10 seconds now. Neither player has an orb, but Teleo already a 10-second lead. If he could pick up an orb and 40 Watt doesn't, this could be the end of dog racing. But if the shoe goes on the other foot, then all bets are off.
Brand new ball game. Teleo decides to drop the rockets and get some grenades, but is rewarded with more rockets. Right now, no orb for anybody. Razor shield and a rocket for Teleo. But there's the orb.
Oh my. And 40 Watt so far. Oh, he runs right into the Mr. Shrapnel. He was waiting for him on that south door. He's not going to lose any time, though, but it's just a minor inconvenience. But 40 Watt is running out of time here, and he is out of time. No orb, and if he doesn't see an orb real soon, this one could be over.
And now here's what's going to hurt more. Rockets for Teleo, going to be able to take care of those firing lines.
Oh my God, that just what the doctor ordered. He needed that, Sigma.
Yep, and he is thankful that he was able to clear out a lot of those grunts in that around him because one wrong move and that orb was gone quick.
Oh yeah, just an excellent job for 40 Watt. Good patience, good dance around to make sure he was going to get that orb nice and healthy. Teleo, this is going to be the fastest time so far, I believe, going into the bonus room with a 2:55. No weapon to take with him into tank trouble. 40 Watt trying to finish off the room here. He's still going to be trailing by quite a bit, but if he can get a good weapon to at least finish the room, you know, maybe he could turn it around like he did in game number 6. But yeah, damage has already been done. He is down by 18 seconds.
Which, depending on how tank trouble goes, he can make that up pretty quick.
Oh, absolutely. We saw it happen in game number 6. It could definitely happen again here in game number 7. And a bad opener for Teleo. It's a foot in a bad spot as well. So if 40 Watt can get a really good drop to start things off here in tank trouble, he can cut into that lead.
Yep, he does find rockets, though, in a decent position. And now rockets in the center, so he's able to claw back some of the time that he lost with those bad firing lanes.
It's a spreader on the feed for 40 Watt, which is something. More spreaders. He's probably wishing that these spreaders would come into the Mutoid Man fight as 40 Watt drops his orb, trying to finish off that second gunner.
Yeah, but he gets it back.
Wow, a huge break there for 40 Watt and Vitamin R as well. So Teleo finishing up that room, a 402 going into Mutoid Man.
And now more nukes for 40 Watt, gets a spawn out, and in this room, you kind of want to spawn out.
Absolutely here. Nice dodging of the tank bullets there for 40 Watt. Let's see what the first drop is for Teleo. It's rockets. And yeah, that lead is growing for Teleo. My goodness gracious.
No ball buster, though. That is an advantage for 40 Watt, but not much of one.
24 seconds is the deficit he's going to have to make up. It's a spreader that Teleo is going to have to go for manuals on. He won't get to that second spreader he's being parked on. So yeah, if 40 Watt can get the ball buster, that would be a start. But look at this!
Sometimes you don't need a ball buster.
No ball buster needed here. Another spreader in a player 2 spot for Teleo. He has seen that. That swirl is still floating though for 40 Watt as he finally gets taken down, but both arms have popped off. We're even.
No, we're not. Teleo just picked up a spreader in an amazing
gets a spreader
position.
too, but he's going to get run over easily. So Teleo, look at this. He's already on the penultimate form. This could be over, folks.
And the body is going to pop off of Teleo's Mutoid.
And these gunners are absolutely giving 40 Watt the business here. Finally gets rockets to take him down, but it's final form for Teleo. Even if 40 Watt gets a spreader, I think it's too late.
But Teleo's missing a lot of lobber shots. He's going to the rockets. Penultimate form for 40 Watt, but he did not get what he needed. Teleo has done it. And he's going to take his mind death in celebration, doing that nice little dance.
And that's
And
going to be his fastest time of the match with a 5:45.
5:45.
What a match. Teleo avoids the comeback bid from 40 Watt. 40 Watt gave it his all, but in the end, Teleo1 was just too much for him tonight.
Yep, and it does look like that 18-second lead that he had going into it not only held, but it expanded. Teleo just got some good drops. 40 Watt just couldn't get any drops at all in Tank Trouble and Total Carnage, and that was the all she wrote.
No question about it, Sigma. Yeah, plus 12 seconds for Teleo on that Mutoid Man fight. Ends up being a 30-second margin of victory. But I'll tell you what, Sigma, that match right there, strong candidate for your match of the tournament right there. That was a barn burner. And this is just the first best of 7 match